Right, that's the voicemail. I assume you'll probably want to listen to it a couple of times. But the crux of it all is that it's totally opposite to his witness statement. He says in there, he admits he knew the people, and in his witness statement he says he knows nothing about the people. So you can understand why the defence wanted to discredit me on that particular scenario. A thing I'd like to mention about in the voicemail, I mentioned to him I was writing a book. Well, the publishers who did my last book, The Divinity and Spirituality of a Seventh Born, said they want to rewrite a book about the Wolves case. They'd learnt about the case. They said, we want to write it and publish it for you. And they're going to call it Wolverhampton It's Magic. They're going to try and get it out later on this year, probably later on this year. But I didn't want you to buy information from a book about my case. I want to tell you here, free of charge, because I think you deserve to know. I don't think anybody should have to pay for information such as this. The other thing about the stick is that when I do these recordings, these editings on these particular videos, there's always a voice track, which is sort of digital squiggly lines, sort of used in the music industry. And you can play this digital recording on this recorder, and you can see whether the track's been broken up or not. And any electronics expert, and if I did have to go to court again, I'd get some electronics expert to look at the digital recording, and I'd prove in court that it'd never been messed with. So that's another thing. No, the last thing I'd like to mention about the court case is this Tony Marshall came to court and he complained that I'd typed his voice conversation without asking for permission. But I'd done some legal research on this, and I knew that to produce in court you can do this sort of thing. There's certain rules and regulations, but you have to check these things. It's all about copyright, and knowing my copyright situation, I learned an awful lot about copyright. Anyway, let's now move on to the next section, which is another witness statement from a chap who entered the same painting competition as me. So, here we go. Okay, let's move on now. This is a statement from a chap who entered the same painting competition as me in 1963. I found him through a search engine in London. But as I said to you before, you always have to have a point of reference. It's like I needed a point of reference to find the painting competition. You need to know when you entered it and where you entered it. It's like when I was talking about Bonita Trimmer. She needs to know when I was bankrupt to find out any information about bankruptcy whatsoever. Hence the reason she found it from the book. And I found this information about this chap who entered this painting competition from the archives when I was doing research in Wolverhampton. This is the original page with the painting. This is the full page with the painting competition on entry form. You can see it's a square, right? And then, whilst I was doing the research a few weeks later, I found this document. It's a bit vague. Which one are we looking at? I'll show you that. But if you look at it, it's actually the results of the painting competition, as luck would totally have it. And on that list of people there was a list of the winners. So what I actually did, I got a search engine from London, hired a search engine, because they'll find anybody, you know. I mean, if you've murdered somebody, don't run anywhere, because these will find you. Cost you a fair bit of money, but believe me, it's worth it. They do a wonderful job. They tell you everything about the family, everything you've done and everything you're going to do, I think. Anyway, that's how I found this guy. Now, I'm not going to mention his name because he's a staunch Wolves fan, and he didn't want to be bought out in the horror because he said his mates had beat him up if they found out he'd been helping me. But he was helping me for a good cause. So, here's the witness statements of the guy who entered the painting competition in 1963, and he actually won something. He won a prize. Well, so he told me. The other thing is he went to the same school as me. oddly enough, I went to St Thomas's Church in Graiseley Lane, and strangely enough, the part they knocked down is where William Bentley Court Flats is built. It's where Dave started the fire and all this started. So there seems to be some sort of cosmic thing happening here. They knocked half of the church school down, St Thomas's Church School, Graiseley Lane. They kept the smaller half, and it's a junior kids school now, but we used to have to walk over the road for science lessons and torture from them cruel, sadistic so-and-sos. And then the last 6 months, in 1962-63, they moved us to March End Road. Well, I never mentioned this in the book. They brought it up at the court case later and said, you never even went to the same school. But I know for a fact that if any of you people who went to March End Road, because I was looking the other day at this and I thought, I wonder if there's a forum for March End Road Secondary Modern. And sure enough, there is. There's about 278 people who meet regularly in the boat in Wensfield. And I was thinking of getting in touch with them and sort of just to confirming what I actually said was the truth. But, you know, you can dig deeper and deeper and deeper. A couple of things I would like to say to the people on the forum is my wife, she went on that Devonia cruise because somebody asked about it. And you know the youth club, which was run by Mr. Buckley, I built that, the coffee counter. There's a coffee bar counter in there, rib coffee bar counter. And that's where I met my wife, and we're still married to this day. Anyway, here's the statement. I'll scroll it slowly, hold it slowly. You can read it. Try and get a bit nearer. I'll read out what this chap says. He says, he lived in his life in Wolverhampton and he attended March End Secondary Modern School. He says, in 1963, my art teacher, Mr. Poole, recommended I enter one of my paintings, a watercolour called Rooftops, in an art competition organised by the Picture Gallery. The Picture Gallery was a shop that had sold prints and provided frames in Cleveland Street in Wolverhampton. My painting was selected to be hung in the gallery so that visitors to the gallery could vote for the winner. I visited the gallery to see it there and I won third prize and received some money for that. I cannot remember how much. I have very recently been contacted by Peter Davis, the claimant in this case. He showed me his original Wharfhead design. I am familiar with the design as I follow Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. But I can recall now that I saw it before the club started using it. Almost certainly in the early 60s. I have always associated with Speedway. That can only be because at some stage I was told that it had been designed as a Speedway bib. I cannot in all honesty state now that I recall seeing the Wharfhead in the picture gallery. But I definitely saw it at around the time I entered my painting competition there. From talking to Peter Davis, it seems that he went to the same school at the same time for 1 year. Although I do not remember him, and he does not remember me, it is possible that I saw it at the school somehow. Well, we used to peg some of our artwork on the pegboard. There was a big foyer in this school, and we used to put peg art. And there was a chap called Roy Wharton, and we used to have this little thing going. And I pegged my Wharfhead up a couple of times, and I'm 100% sure it was in the art class, so that's where Patrick would have seen it. There's an important statement here from Patrick which says he never saw it at the picture gallery, and I'll tell you why he never saw it at the picture gallery later on, but that's in conjunction with Richard Jackson's statement. So we'll close this now. The next episode is going to be totally dedicated to Richard Jackson, the guy who designed the Wharfhead logo, allegedly. Right, see you in the next episode then, episode 8. It's gonna be a cracker.